Hi guys, welcome back, and we're doing another servicing type thing, but what I'm going to do is walk you through how to take the hot air feed off the top of the engine and redirect it to air rather than back into your intake, which means you're not getting all that oily, yucky, kind of misty hot air going into your cold air intake, which then goes through your turbo, carbon, and it creates lots and lots of problems. But I'll walk you through that as I'm doing it. So if we do it, we're doing it to my wife's car. So it's a VW Scirocco, but it has the same engine as the Golf, the Audi A3, same 2 litre diesel engine. So yeah, let's get into it. So if you can pop the bonnet for me, please, darling. The catch is right in the centre. Just press the button, up it goes. Just there. That's the catch. So what we do, we take off the engine mount. It's literally just little rubber bungs that sit on these. You just pull them off. Now what we're taking off is this here. Now what happens is all the hot oily air gets taken out of the rocker cover and directed back into your intake. Now, as anyone will know, and people that don't know, the colder the air going into the engine, the more efficient and better fuel efficiency and throttle response you get. Now obviously all this hot oily air is coming back in and reducing that. So what we are going to do is disconnect here, which all you do is you press the 2 little feet either side. You can see it here, those little feet there, and they're a catch, and it just pops off. And same again on this side, press either side. Sometimes you've got to push it in to pull it out. And there she goes, and that's it. You take that off. Now what we've bought is a rubber bung, which is a 24mm inside diameter, and you just work it over the top and press it down. Now you don't need to cable tie that because it's sucking all the time, so it's always sucking that on. So now no more oily hot air going into the turbo, because there's a turbo there, and there it is. That's the turbo, there's the hot air feed. So that is now done. So what we also now do, so what I can do, and what I've done to a lot of cars, is because this pipe is sticking to the side, and obviously we've got a rubber hose which is here. If I run it from there, it's going that way. So what I've done, and I'm going to do now, is I reattach this one onto there and cut it. So then what happens, obviously without that there, hang it down and the rubber hose comes up over here and goes straight down and over. So that is the way I do it, and then just run it down so it's running down, over and just back into fresh air. So that'll be the next job. Right, okay, so I've cut the end off, as you can see. So what I do now is just slide that in there. I go further than I need to because that's larger there, and I'll put the cable tie onto that part there. And then slide that down through. Now what we got to do, you want it to just stick out the bottom. You don't want it hanging down onto the floor. So you watch where it goes. You see how far you've got to do. And it's only a case of guiding it with your hand. It's not hot. You shouldn't do this with a hot engine, obviously. Okay, so I've fed the pipe down. So it's just hanging down. So you can just about see it from underneath. And as you can see, because we buy these in meter lengths, so that's how much is there. And what I do is I just place that roughly where I want it. So you place that there. Notice that that's the beginning, so I want to cut it about there. Right there. Then it's a case of just cut through. And again, it doesn't have to be immaculate, that's entirely up to the person. There. Then take this out, slide it down in, lock that back in, that just locks in perfectly, and this way you still get to keep your engine cover on if you like that. And I said about that dip, so you can feel it by pinching it. So you pinch it, there's the wide bit, there's the thin bit. So put cable tie. Now I use reusable ones because if you have to move it or if you have to do anything, pinch it there, that's it there. Put that nice and tight so it doesn't come off. Trim the excess off, leave a little tiny tail just in case, and that literally is it. Engine cover back on, and that's done. Now this doesn't affect any of your engine management systems, it won't flag up a warning light. All you are doing is taking the oily, hot, rancid air and all the hydrocarbons away from your intake system, which is what your car wants. Your car wants freezing cold air, and all you're doing once your engine's hot is directing really hot, really oily air into your turbo, which causes your turbos to fail by getting a lot of hydrocarbons and carbon build up on variable vane turbos, which diesel have in these days, and they just carbon up and then stick, and then they flag up a fault, which is also what the EGR valve does, but we won't go into that right now. But that is just another good way of getting better throttle response, more fuel economy and more reliability, and it's cheap. The whole thing I think the hose was £12, the bung was £5, so it's a really cheap mod that's really good for your engine. So I hope this helps. Hope you've taken that in, and if anyone of you have done that before, let us know in the comments. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers guys.